All right, welcome back to the Southern Pickleball Podcast. I'm Mark Spackman. Alongside me today is going to be Zach Deutsch, our pro pickleball correspondent. I know we said we weren't going to talk any more pro pickleball, but after all the excitement that was generated when we broke the story of the sizzling romance between some people with a big age gap on the pro tour, we just couldn't help ourselves and come back for a little more. But before we get to that, a little word from Corin, who's not with us tonight, but Corin wants to tell you about some of our sponsors.
And as always, thank you to our sponsors, Head Pickleball, a favorite of Southern Pickleball and its players all across the country. Diadem Sports, the official pickleball of Southern Pickleball and of the world, and the only pickleball that we want to play with and you should want to play with as well. And Mizuno Pickleball, the shoe that is helping us grow the game on and off the courts. We're also grateful for Mizuno's continued support of Southern Pickleball as they provide us with some incredible giveaways for our tournament players and fans.
All right, and also congrats to those last week's Mizuno shoe giveaways, Vince Custodi from Johnson City, Tennessee, and Maggie Shoemake from Temple, Georgia. They both won a pair of Mizuno shoes, so make sure you follow our socials so you can do that too. Also, if you're tuning in, just make sure you subscribe, like our podcast, and we'd love to hear some comments too. But, Zach, I'm so glad you're here.
Happy to be here, Mark.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to make sure, as we're going to get into a lot of different things, we're going to talk about some MacGuffin today. We're going to talk about some Alshon, the paddle controversy, this wooden paddle bullshit that they got going on. We're going to talk about all sorts of stuff. But before we get into that, you told me on the side about 2 or 3 weeks ago, you said there's going to be some big changes coming to the PPA Tour.
Tour schedule about how they're going to go about their pro tours, both PPA and MLP. So now it's more of a season type of deal where now the PPA Tour will run until the beginning of May. Their last tour will be May. And then MLP will run June through August, September, and PPA will pick back up after then. So that way the pros can focus on one type of tournament and not have to go back and forth, and they know all of their schedule for PPA and MLP way beforehand.
So you called it, but here's my thoughts, all right?
Yeah.
So one, the players, they have to love it. They know what they're doing now. It's not hopping back and forth. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think having to switch from one weekend playing traditional PPA, whether it's all of your matches in one day or progressive draw, which I think that the pros like the progressive draw more versus and then the very next week having to play MLP. But because you were at PPA the previous week, you didn't have time to really practice with your teammates.
You're really analyzing this stuff deep here.
Yeah. I mean,
I was just thinking more simple. I'm thinking, hey, I'm playing against you this week in PPA. We're having a hotly contested match. Now next week, I got to be your teammate. After we just had is what I was thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it happened at the MLP finals where Leia Jansen and Noe Cliff ended up partnering or played against each other in the MLP championship, and then the very next week they were partners at PPA Las Vegas. Same thing with Megan Dizon and Andre Diescu, where they played against each other, and then they were partners the very next week. So this eliminates a lot of that too.
Okay, so good for the players. I think it's good for the fans because we know what we're watching and what to prepare for. But my thought now, the MLP season, Major League Pickleball, is going to be 3 months long.
Roughly, yeah.
And we've just been seeing team evaluations in the millions or tens of millions of dollars. Are all these team owners, are they just getting screwed by this deal? I mean, when they signed up for this, did they want a 3-month season?
Well, I think that having a 3-month season and having it all within the same 3-month period actually opens up a lot of possibilities for the MLP in terms of having home and away matches for their respective teams instead of doing all of the matches in one respective area. So I think that could be a benefit to MLP.
So you think we're going
owners.
to see home and away matches next?
I think so. I think that's the next direction. You have the brand new MLP team, the Palm Beach Royals that are opening up. I mean, Jared from the Kitchen just put the Nashville Chefs up for sale, so some new ownership there potentially.
I did not know that. You're breaking news for me, but that's interesting. I'm sure he's going to make a lot of money off that transaction, knowing Jared. He's a savvy business guy. Or did he just see the writing on the wall that, maybe NLP is going in a different direction and they're only getting 3 months of the year and PPA is getting the rest?
Well, based off of his Twitter posts and the media announcement that they made, I think that they're just bringing in majority owners, but they're still going to be minority owners and still be involved in some way. I think the big thing for Jared was being involved in pickleball more than just being a kind of like a media forum and an online forum, but now he has stake in an MLP team. He's still going to have that stake as long as he does not sell 100% of it.
All right. So when we are talking about Jared Paul, one of the founders of the Kitchen, not Jared Subway guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So along one of the other co-founders of the Kitchen, and I think still involved, Jason Aspis,
Yep.
president of UPAA, really sort of taking the forefront with the paddle testing.
Yep.
And not only did we come down with a schedule change, but some more paddle news dropped this week too. A lot of controversy.
Well, I mean, it's kind of interesting because Jason posted on Twitter that the paddle companies knew about the changes that were going to be forthcoming this year all the way back in January or February that were going to be hit September 1st. But for some reason, when this tournament in Cincinnati was happening the day before, I guess all the pros were very surprised about it because a lot of them, their paddles were not approved. Tyra's pickle paddle was not approved. Anything that was Proton was not approved. Vulcan paddles were not approved. So a lot of pros this weekend were having to use using a lot of paddles that they were unfamiliar with. And I thought that the CEO of Yola put it best. He said, look, we knew about this. We've already gone through controversy like this. So all you pros out there, get ready to learn Yola. That's what he said.
So basically what he was saying is that we're the biggest and we're going to dominate this market. And so you might as well start playing with our paddle because we have everybody in our back pocket.
Yep, pretty much. I mean, the only other big ones that really made it through the paddle testing, at least that I can remember off the top of my head, were Franklin and Paddle Tech, which those, I mean, Franklin, you have JW, Georgia, Hayden, Paris, they all use that paddle. Paddle Tech is obviously Annalie and Christian. So some of their bigger names use those paddles. So I think that those companies were really focused on making sure that they passed. A lot of it came down to, I think, the PB core rating, which changed from on September 1st to what the new rating that's allowed is. So, yeah, it is. There was a lot of controversy about it.
So you're losing me, which means if you're losing me, we're probably losing a lot of people out there. What does PB core rating mean?
It is basically how the ball comes off of the core when the paddle and ball connect.
And so basically that's a different standard that UPAA is putting in their testing that is not currently part of USA Pickleball's testing. Is that accurate?
It is accurate. USA Pickleball still does the deflection test, which is slightly different from the PB core test. So it's different things for different tours. It all started when UPA decided to make their own paddle testing and try and capture some of that money market that USA Pickleball basically had a monopoly on. And I mean, it's worked.
Well, I do say, I mean, I made a joke about it, and you're saying too, so I do know there's something about the money involved with it. But I will say, knowing Jason Aspis and having had many conversations with him about this, his intention and his heart is in the right place. I mean, his concern, and I think something we should all be concerned about, that if these paddles are not regulated and they just get faster and faster and more powerful, it's going to change the game that we all love. Into a different thing, and not be as welcoming to new players.
Not only that, I mean, depending on the way that the ball comes off the paddle, it could be some kind of safety concern if the ball is coming off hot, and it's, a lot of players, they're aiming for your chest, aiming hot, the ball goes high, so if you get hit in the face, like...
Well, I think that's what he's saying. I think first thing is the safety, exactly, safety, and then I think the other thing is that we all want to know when we're out in the court that if we're losing a match, that we're losing because of our ability, not because of technology of what the other person has in their hands.
Yeah, and I think that you've seen a lot of that in terms of paddles over the past year as far as these Gen 4s go, where a lot of them, the gap is not so big, but the difference is that a lot of these paddle companies have a lot more money than other people, so they can do different things. So, like, just as an example, like Onyx paddles Onyx Gen 4 paddles are not going to be the same as Yola Gen 4 paddles. It's just not going to be something that they're going to be able to compare because there's going to be a big difference in terms of the type of technology that's put into both of the paddles.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So paddle changes. I guess the thing for me is I just don't know, why do we always have this controversy with PPA of people not knowing what's happening? I mean, were the players supposed to know it by a Twitter post? I mean, did they get some sort of formal? Well, there's always a he said, she said with this company of some people don't know. So I think we just got to get better about communicating.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. I mean, like I said, Jason Aspis put out a Twitter post saying that they had let all the paddle manufacturers know back in January that these changes were going to come September 1st, and either the message fell on deaf ears or they just didn't seem to care.
But to understand that, so you're saying the thing was that the paddle manufacturers know, so it's the paddle manufacturers' responsibility to let their players know? Would it not be would you not tell your competitors first?
You would,
and I'm just trusting you at this. I don't want to like step into a big pile of crap with everybody getting mad at me out there because I like Jared and I like Jason and Connor and PPA and all that. So I'm not trying, but I'm just trying to understand it. I mean, shouldn't you tell your competitors the rules?
You would think that they would have. I'm not sure. Again, because everything has been so hectic. There's barely been a weekend in the past 8 months where players have really had off unless they have voluntarily taken it off.
So maybe they're just not reading their email. Who knows?
Yeah,
I guess we just need to get Aspis on here in the pod. We can ask him about it. That'd be good.
Yeah.
I know he would be more than happy to come on.
They're probably a lot more concerned about their new contracts that PPA was trying to push out. So
yeah, and we and we with Southern Pickleball, we're trying to make some decisions right now about what we'll do, for paddles next year. So I would love to see in the comments, do you think we should go with the USA Pickleball paddle list, the UPA paddle list, whatever. But the thing that I never want to lose on the court to technology. So I think that makes me always want to buy whatever I think is the best paddle.
Yep.
But the other thing I don't want to lose on the court is to somebody hooking me on a line call, Zach.
Oh, man.
And we've talked about Rettenmeyer on here with his intentional hook and all that he did and his Bad Calls podcast, which was pretty cool. If you haven't seen our podcast that we had, the top 5 podcasts, I'd encourage you to go do that. We did that. But a lot of controversy involving Mo Alhouni and my buddy and my favorite player, Tyson McGuffin.
Huge, yeah. Mo Alhouni and Tyson were playing in men's singles round of 32 match, and it was very tightly contested. Mo actually won the first game. That game went off just fine, but then the second game, Tyson was up, and there were 5 calls in a row by Mo where, in not only Tyson's opinion, but the fans and the people watching, where Mo hooked him. And for those of you that don't know what that means, hooking basically means where you call a in-ball out and you blame it on, oh, this is how I saw it, pretty much. So, yeah, Mo and Tyson really got into it because he called quite a few out that were very close and seemingly in, and they were on a side court, so there was no video review. It was just, the call and everything like that. And Tyson called Mo Alhouni out and said, come on, bro, everybody on tour knows, which, wild statement, but Mo Alhouni does have that reputation of calling balls out that are definitely in. If you need some evidence, you can pretty much watch any Chris Cali, Sorry Not Sorry podcast, because he does a Hooks of the Week every time that there's a PPA or MLP event.
And Mo's on there a lot?
Every time. Almost every single time. He is heavily featured on that. So, yeah, it's the weird thing to me about it, though. So, even after all of that, when Tyson called him out, they asked the referee to get involved. The referee, I couldn't make out what she said, but it ended up giving Tyson the point, made the game 11-11. Tyson went on to go win, but there was a timeout, and the benches for these PPA events are so close that they started arguing about it while they were in the middle of a timeout, both on the bench. So that's
another thing you told me. You're like, why do we got these players sitting so close to each other?
Yeah.
We know that. So, put the benches on opposite side of the courts or at least spread them apart. That was your
suggestion.
I thought genius idea that you had on that.
Definitely have to separate that, especially on the doubles side of things, because you can't really talk to your opponent about strategy in a timeout. The whole point of taking a timeout is to talk to your partner to try and switch things up because something's not going your way, at least on the pro side of things. So, but then even weirder than everything else is that afterwards, I mean, Mo, for good reason, was getting a lot of flack online from all of the big, pickleball social medias and from players commenting and things like that. But the PPA filmed a little short video with both Mo and Tyson and, getting their opinion on the situation, which I thought was weird because it definitely did not put Mo in a good position on the social side of things. He didn't apologize, and he got called out for it, for not apologizing for, I mean, he could go back and watch the video too. He would see that he was definitely in the wrong on every single one of the calls that he called out. And Tyson was just like, look, heat of the battle, I'm just trying to control what we're trying to control. It's hot out there. I get it, but, we got to keep things fair, and you can't just let it go if you feel like you're being cheated.
A lot to unpack there. So one, in my opinion, you get in that situation, you got to stand up for yourself. You got to stand up for the call. Two, I really don't think Mo was probably intentionally calling him out. I mean, maybe he's got bad eyesight, you're running fast or whatever. I think there's also something in our brain. I mean, we want to win. There's just there's a bias to what we want to see is in our favor, So it's just really hard to think that he's intentionally cheating on that. Because when you think about it, in front of hundreds of people with cameras on and everything else, it just doesn't make sense. You don't want to get exposed for being a cheater.
Absolutely
so it's hard for me to think that he's doing it intentionally. But to your point, what I'd like to unpack there is with the PPA interviewing them both afterwards what they both should have said is, why are we on these big contracts playing for thousands of dollars playing in a court where we don't either have line judges or video review? Why are we still calling our own lines as pro pickleball players?
Yeah, no, it's long been my stance that I think that pro pickleball's biggest issue in terms of becoming a more reputable sport is the fact that you cannot have players calling their own lines. And I get it. There's tons of players. You for men's and women's doubles at any given time, you have 40, 50 matches in the first round, depending on how many teams sign up and things like that. So that means that you would have to.
No excuse. It's pro pickleball, Zach. It doesn't matter. If you limit your pool, don't have 40, 50 times. If you're going to play pro pickleball and have people paying for hundreds of thousands of dollars, you got to have line judges out there. Or there's all sorts of technology out there. I even think if they put a system that didn't work, but it was at least a system to go to. We did an amateur tournament in Virginia with Performance Productions, a great group up there, and they were able to do video replay that worked.
Yeah.
So, why can't we pull it off?
Well, you would think that with the amount of money that the PPA charges for tickets to their event to sit there and watch championship court on a Saturday or Sunday, they'd be able to afford things like that. But for some reason,
I don't know about that. I don't think they're even profitable yet with that. I think they're going to be, and that's everything. We need to figure out. We want them to make it. We got to figure out how this tour to make it. I know they're adjusting contracts and all that. But you brought up a good point. The line calls are an issue.
Big issue.
I just wanted to say my personal opinion is to Mo, you really should just be thanking Tyson. If it wasn't for Tyson, probably Southern Pickleball wouldn't be here, all that. Pro Pickleball wouldn't be there. You wouldn't be under contract. So, and I think he handled it with class after he got confronted, and he handled it kind of classy. I really like how Tyson came back and just said, hey, boys are going to be boys. We're all a small pond. We got to get along every week. So let's just move on from it. Didn't sort of let it go.
Yeah.
But the other issue is that if we have this line call issue, there's now legal betting coming about. So that, when we haven't even figured out this line call and the hooks, and now where is it, this betting? Kashi or Kaushi? Kashi's a cereal. That's not what it is. What is it?
So as of this tournament that just happened in Cincinnati, the PPA Tour has officially partnered with Kaushi. It's an online predictive market website that allows you to bet pretty much on anything. You can bet on the next presidential election. You can bet on whatever you want, really, but they partnered with the PPA, so now you can bet legally in all 50
next
states.
Presidential election you can bet on.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yep. You don't even know who the candidates are yet, but you can bet on it. You can bet on pretty much anything there, but it's legal in all 50 states. It's a predictive market website, now on every single PPA graphic that they put out as far as like matches and things like that, they have at the bottom like the Kalshi predictive like percentage to win. So like this past weekend, when the Kawamotos won in the quarterfinals to move on to the semifinals, at the bottom of the graphic showing that they won, it said that they, according to Kalshi, they had a 1% chance of winning the entire thing. So if you went there and you bet on them and they did end up winning, then you won money. So Kalshi, yeah, it's a predictive market, and yeah, it's kind of like the stock market a little bit, but you can bet on pro pickleball there.
Yeah, I was a little concerned. I read, it just seems, I understand the PPA and MLP wanting to have betting on sports. that's what drives it. We're recording this right now on Monday night, and I'm hoping we're going to get done. I have the Chargers plus 3.5. Oh, no, minus 3.5, I think. So,
yeah.
So what I have, minus 3.5 on the road at Las Vegas here. Shout out to Georgia Tech. Big upset over Clemson, though.
Yep, that was a big one.
I called it on this podcast, everybody. Tech over 7.5 wins for the year, so that should be a no-brainer. But so, hey, I want betting on pickleball as much as anybody. But this Kashi thing, I was looking up. It says it's like already have like 7 different states that are coming out saying it's illegal or whatever coming down. So is this just another boneheaded decision by PPA trying to get too far ahead of itself and now going to get mired in all sorts of illegal controversy?
Well, originally there was at one point, I think it was 2024, where there was pickleball betting on DraftKings, but that got shut down pretty quick.
Well, I think that was just because they couldn't make any money off of it because Ben Johns won every week. Everybody's just loading up on Ben Johns and
Anna Lee. Yeah. But I think that the biggest issue in terms of betting on pro pickleball right now, it goes back to what we were just talking about, is that you can't have players calling their own line calls. I think that is a big obstacle when it comes to pro sports betting on pickleball. Just having it in the hands of the players calling, something that is so crucial as line calls, I just think it makes it impossible.
When a player can tank a match anyway. They have to deal with that everywhere with tennis. The other thing with the way betting is going in our society right now, it's sort of sad to see all these college kids that are getting wrapped up, with betting controversy and all that. But I know it's coming. I know it's coming for our pickleball game too.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that they just chose to go with an entity that, I don't know, maybe I just don't know about it, but when I saw that it was already
I think it's the only one that would actually follow through and actually was worth it for the PPA to do it, because
seems like they're just reaching for something to grab some headlines. Kind of like having a wooden paddle tournament. What the heck are we having a wooden paddle for? Does anybody really care about watching these pro players play with a wooden paddle?
I'll tell you what, the big storyline about the wooden paddle tournament, which is not this weekend but the following weekend out in California, is that Ben and Colin are partnering for it, and they feel like they are the best chance to win because they practice with wooden paddles all the time. But yeah, so there's it's going to be an interesting one because I really don't know what type of wooden paddles these players are going to be playing with. If they
probably don't know either, Zach.
I don't know if their paddle sponsors are making a wooden paddle for them and going to
Yola on all of the paddles. They'll be happy.
Yeah, maybe just give them a form of wooden ping pong paddle that they turn into a pickleball paddle. Who knows? But yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how that one plays out.
So is that something you're interested in watching?
Not the entire week. I don't think I want to watch the round of 64 where Ben and Anna Lee are playing wooden paddle against some.
Does this count towards their rankings?
Oh yeah. It's hold on, I'll tell you,
so
based on the new schedule, this one is it's an open, so that is worth 1,000 points towards rankings.
Well, so why don't we just, idea for Major League Baseball.
Use metal bats.
No, let's play wiffle ball on Sunday. Let's just play wiffle ball with plastic bats, and it's going to count towards the standings for you to go to the World Series.
That'd be cool.
Playoffs.
Apparently, it's to
commemorate the founding of the game. So.
Yeah, Junior chiming in over here trying to make me feel better about it. I just don't buy it.
Yeah, it is. It's an interesting concept. I don't know how well it's going to go. Oh, it says, upon check-in for the tournament, all players will receive a custom-branded wooden pickleball paddle to play with. So even the amateurs are playing with wooden paddles.
Hey, Monday Night Football next week. Let's just go back no face mask. That'll be fun.
Or use a Nerf ball.
I don't know. I mean, if it was a one-off event, didn't count for the points, or I mean, if y'all want to do it, just do it. I mean, I'm sure Ben and Colin are great with wooden paddles. I mean, I remember, myth back in the not myth. What do you call it? Urban legend, whatever
Yeah.
the story of
Wooden paddle left-handed.
Yeah, or I even heard of like Ben taking off and like playing with his flip flop or something to meeting somebody with his flip flop or whatever. So I'm sure whatever. But come on, if you're trying to be a pro tour with a pro event and points that count, and now you're playing with wooden paddles for the weekend that count. I mean, what if that keeps somebody from qualifying? Because it's a wooden paddle event. I don't know. I just don't get it.
I mean, Hunter Johnson loses his #1 singles ranking because he has to play with wood. I mean, you got Chris Hayworth coming in from APP. He's finally on PPA Tour. Made it all the way to the bronze medal match. Almost, made it to gold. Playing Connor Garnett in the semifinals. But I'm telling you,
maybe Ben would have played him if he would have played with the wood paddle.
Yeah, no, I mean, Ben pulled out from being sick to play singles against Chris Hayworth, the number 57 seed, even though he's not really. But he still played men's and mixed that day. So no sickness for those, but sick for singles.
Well, we have that happen on our amateur tour all the time. I mean, everybody's like, well, we all hold more singles events. We want more singles events. And then if we put them on the first day of a tournament, we get
nobody
7 or 8 emails that it's like, hey, sorry, my Achilles is hurt. I can't play. Oh, but I'll still be there Saturday,
Yeah.
And then we switch it and we do it the other way. We put singles on the tail end of the event, and it's like, oh, I'm so too tired after that. People pull out. I guess it's, when you're by yourself, you just have you don't want to let down your partner, so you still play. But I don't know.
My thing is if you're doing this wooden paddle event to commemorate the game, why are you doing it in Sacramento, California? Why would you not do it in Washington, where the game was founded in the first place?
Well, that could be another whole thing. I just think it's a bad idea. I think we've had a couple of bad ideas. I mean, but that being said, I mean, hey, I love pro pickleball. I love watching it. You have all the inside scoop, and it seems like you always know what's going on. I don't know how you get it all. I don't know if you got like a secret pipeline to some of these pro players or what, but you're always letting me know stuff before it. So I think we are lucky to have you, and we sort of took over the Southern Pickleball Podcast this week.
Yep.
But going forward, I think we're going to have a new show that's going to be our Pro Pickleball Weekly. So if everybody liked this, let us know. We hope you'll come back for that. There was, before we go, one last thing. There's a couple of upsets this week. I don't want us not to give some people some recognition, so give us some shout-outs from some big upsets this weekend in the Pro Tour.
Yeah, so in women's doubles, the Kawamoto sisters captured their first gold medal in women's doubles. They beat Georgia and Tyra in the finals, beat Annalee and AB in the semis to get there. Big win for Christian Alshon in singles, men's singles, beating Connor Garnett. And then as far as the other events go, nothing too big to report there. Annalee winning women's singles, Ben and Gabe winning men's doubles, and Ben and Annalee winning mixed.
But I think that's huge with Kawamoto's winning. I mean,
but a lot of people are saying maybe it's because they had to use Yola instead of their normal Proton paddles. So who knows? Who knows as far as that goes?
Beat by technology?
Maybe. I mean, Proton with their Flamingo paddle has been, which is what they used.
Was Annalee able to use her paddle this weekend?
Yep. Annalee used her paddle. AB was able to use hers.
And Bright, AB.
Yeah. So they used their normal paddles. Tyra, though, had to use a Franklin. She could not use her pickle. So it was a new paddle for her. She found out she couldn't use hers the day before, so she used one of Georgia's Franklin paddles. So who knows if that played a big part into it also, as far as Kawamoto's, winning the whole thing. But either way, I mean, they won. They got gold, their first gold on tour. Definitely, I mean, that was a slam. So that was a lot of points towards making it into the championships here at the end of the year. So that was big for them, really big.
2 weeks in a row, the Annalee hadn't won the gold in women, so we'll maybe talk next week about whether or not she's already looking for a new partner.
Yeah.
Whether or not she needs, whether two power players like the two of them can play together. They'll give us lots to talk about. No breaking romances to talk about this week. We didn't see anybody in hotels anywhere or whatever.
Nope.
It was nice to get a shout out from King of the Court Jimmy Miller. He said he didn't know our name, but Mark Spackman, Zach Deutsch, Corin Dajinski,
Southern Pickleball Podcast.
Southern Pickleball Podcast. He did say that. So, Jimmy, if you can't, bring out the controversy anymore because you're in the PPA's pockets, just give the info over here and we'll spill it to the world. That's okay.
Yep, the biggest breakup was Christian Alshon and Lee Waters, no longer player and coach. That's the biggest breakup there was.
Makes you wonder if there's another breakup behind the scenes with that. But another day we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Zach.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you for being here. Look forward to talking more pickleball next week.